Today I'm going to tell you absolutely everything that you need to know about how much it costs to build a new house in the UK. Now you're also going to understand each step as to what it takes to build a house in the UK, and by the end of the video you'll have a complete understanding how new builds in the UK are built. Trust me, you're really going to want to wait and find out and understand all of the processes, because as a site manager on this £22 million construction site where we are building 52 new houses in the UK, you won't expect what I'm going to teach you in this video. So starting off then, right at the beginning is the foundation. To build a foundation for a new build in the UK is 20 grand. 10 grand of that is excavating the ground. On the construction site that I'm currently on, the elevations are wild, which means that we have to do a lot of excavation. It means using a lot of dumpers, it means using a lot of ground workers, it means using a lot of safety features and safety precautions to make sure that no one gets hurt in the process, and that costs roughly 8 grand. It's a lot of money. Next up then, we got to put in the blinding. Now the blinding is basically a foundation to the foundation. It acts as a concrete layer that the concrete foundation can sit on, so it's just not sitting on the ground. Now this blinding will cost £1 grand to install, which takes our price up to 10 grand doing the excavation, then the blinding. Of course, at the same time we're fitting in the drainage as well. Once the drainage is in, I don't have it on site at the moment, but we install a thing called buildite insulation. This buildite insulation will act as the formwork, so then when we pour the concrete, it will keep the concrete in place until the concrete dries out. Once the foundation dries and the concrete is ready to be worked upon, we can then start fitting the metal frame. Now this bad boy is the ground floor of the metal frame for a new house that we are building. You see, when we build new houses back in the day, pre-World War II, it was a lot harder to build houses because we were using brickwork and blockwork, and we were using these materials that were very difficult to install in wet weather and cold weather, and in the UK you get nothing but wet and cold weather, so we had to think of an alternative, hence why we are using steel nowadays. Now the metal frame will cost roughly 25 grand altogether for the ground floor and the first floor. So we use the metal frame. It takes around 3 days to install the ground floor, and then it takes 3 days to install the first floor. So just over a week, the metal frame for a new build in the UK is built. Now, if you ask me, that's pretty impressive, and I know a lot of people hate on new builds, but I gotta say, that's pretty good, considering the pressure that builders are under nowadays, considering how quick we need to build these houses to get people in them, considering the housing crisis that we are currently in. I think that's quite impressive. So after the steel frame goes up, we can then start installing the white sheathing board, which is again right behind me. Like I said, guys, you're going to learn absolutely every step in this video, so make sure you stay tuned. As a construction manager, the thing that I'm trying to make sure of people are in sequence. The foundation gets complete. After that's done, the metal frame goes up. After that's done, the white sheathing board goes up. You see the white stuff? You see the white board? That's called a white weather protection board, and it gets fitted onto the metal frame of the house, and that acts as the external weather protection board just before the brickwork. Now you're going to see that step in a little bit. You're really going to want to wait and find out and understand how that works, but the sheathing board goes on, fixed into the metal frame, and that is another grand. So altogether now we spent around 20 grand on the foundation, 25 grand on the metal frame, and £1 grand already for the sheathing board. That takes up to approximately 46 grand already, and now we've got to look at the roof trusses. But just before that, if you are enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing, because I'm a small channel and it means so much to me. And as a thank you, you can download the complete breakdown of how much it costs to build a new house in the UK completely for free in the link in the description below. Thank you. 46 grand, and around 3 weeks later, and it's time to install the roof trusses. Now altogether, with the roof trusses, which are behind me, with the felt and batten, which is just in front of me there, and also with the tile, it comes up to around 6 grand, which takes our total up to £51,000 just before getting it watertight, which honestly is quite interesting and quite reasonable, to be honest. The roof trusses then, the way that these get installed, well, they'll get brought into site from a factory on a lorry, on a hired crane. They will park it, we will park it right in front of the plot, and they'll use a crane then to lift it up, fit it on top. We then have 2 chippies on the scaffolding that nail gun it to the house. So we install the roof trusses nevertheless, and next up then we felt and batten. I'm just going to walk a little bit over to the scaffolding so you can get a better understanding. The felt and batten goes onto the roof trusses to make it watertight. You can see the felt is the green stuff that's nailed onto the roof trusses, and you can see the batten being the red fire protective battens, the wooden battens going across, keeping the felt in place. You can then see the tilers have already started laying out the tiles for the finishing of that house. If I zoom out a little bit, I hope that makes a little bit more sense. And then if I turn around just behind me, you can see that the tiles are already finished on this plot. So they'll get a hammer, they'll get a nail, they'll put the tile in, hammer it in, then the tile will overlap and hide the nail. So there's like a nail there for that tile, there's a nail there for that tile. It overlaps all the way up to the top. And that pretty much gets the house watertight. The only thing we have to do to make it fully watertight, if you can guess it or not, is the windows. And as you can see, if I turn my phone around, the windows right there are being installed. Over there, we're missing windows. Over here, there are windows. So let's go and investigate. The way it's installed is we get the windows brought onto site without actually any glass in them, and they get installed into the opening with a bracket, with a metal bracket, just like my finger is there, and it will attach onto this and then attach onto the metal frame and hold it in place. The next part of the process is that the window fitters get the glass, which gets again delivered to site. They pick it up just like a glass like this. They pick it up out of here, and then what they can do is just fit it into the frame, encase it either side with a UPVC, and there you are. That is the windows pretty much installed. After that, then you've got to EDPM them, which is a sense of water protection, just like here. EDPM them just to make sure that water can't seep in where the gap is. The bracket is here, fit in the window frame. We put in the glass, and then we EDPM all the way around it. Now, next up, ladies and gentlemen, the house is now watertight. Okay, think about it. We've put up the metal frame. Sorry, we've done the foundation, put up the metal frame, the roof trusses go on. We felt and batten it so no rain can come in from the top. We put the windows in and the EDPM in, which means that no rain can come in from the side. That means the house is now watertight. That now means, you guessed it, people, is that we can start working on the inside. We can start fitting the plasterboard, the first fix electrical work, and the first fix plumbing work. You're really not gonna anticipate how much this is gonna cost. Let's go into a plot and let me actually show you for real. The lighting isn't very good, so I'm gonna stay right here. I hope this is okay. On the 2 main things on new builds in the UK that are all to do with the heating and the airflow is the MVHR, mechanical ventilation heating unit, and we also have an air source heat pump, which acts as a way to heat the water in the property to make sure it's hot for the residents that live in it in a sustainable manner. So if I look up above me, then we've got the ducts that are already installed between the ceiling voids. So we've got a cement board at the top, that's the floor for the first floor, and we'll have it on the bottom as well, and we'll create a cavity, fill it with insulation, and in that cavity we will have the ducting. Now this ducting will be connected to an MVHR, which will suck out the stale air. Imagine I'm in a kitchen right now, I'm cooking up some lasagna or some pasta, and there's steam and there's smoke coming out, and the room is a bit steamy, it's a bit hot, there's a lot of smoke in the area. We'll have a duct that's going to suck all of the air, it's going to suck all of the stale, warm, misty air out, it's going to release it into the open, and then also on the other side, there's going to be a duct that's going to suck in cold air and release it into the kitchen. Now, the MVHR, when they take the warm air out and they bring in the cold air, they will cross each other. They will cross each other. The ducts will cross each other, which means that, this is brilliant, which means that the warm, stale air in the house that's going to be released will give its temperature, release its temperature to the cold air, which means that even though the house is bringing in cold air, even though the M3HR unit is bringing in cold air, it gets warmer with the air that is created from the kitchen. That is absolutely fascinating. So the M3HR and the air source heat pump combined costs £6,000 with the ducting. It's a lot of money. When you include the electrical side of things now, add on a couple more grand, and before you know it, you're getting up to the 60k mark on building a new house in the UK. At the exact same time where the mechanical and electrical fitters are inside the plots, externally we have the brick layers. Now, you're not going to believe the total cost of how much it does cost to build, to install the insulation and the brickwork. I'm going to tell you in a second, but before I do, I'm going to tell you the process. First things first, we have the white sheathing board. You can see the blue stuff there. That is the white sheathing board. The bricklayers put on this stuff. This is a breather membrane to allow the building to breathe so it doesn't get hot, so it ventilates well, so it's sustainable when we are building it. So we put in the breather membrane. After we put in the breather membrane, we put in the blocks of insulation. You can see the breather membrane there, the block of insulation there. We then put in a brick channel that goes all the way up the wall, and connected to the brick channel we will have a wall tie. That wall tie then will come out just like my finger, just like that. It will come out, it will fix into the wall, fix into the channel, it will come out and support the brickwork as it goes up the wall, which I'll show you in a minute. Trust me, you're going to want to see it. So the insulation goes in, we fit in the brick channel that goes up the wall, we fit in the brick tie, and then the bricks simply go and connect on top of that all the way up the wall. As you can see here, we've got insulation being wrapped around this plot. We've got all the insulation here. Here's the insulation. We've got more windows there. Ignore those for a sec. You can see the insulation being fitted up there. Now that's pretty cool. I'm going to show you how the solar panels are installed in 5 seconds time. I'm going to tell you how much it costs for us to build them as well. Oh, just slipped there. But before I do, I just want to find some brickwork for you. And here we are. I've just come up the scaffolding. Here is the brickwork. The breather membrane is at the very back. We then have the insulation. We have the brick channel, and then we have the bricks. You can see a brick tie connected there between the wall channel and the brickwork, which supports it all the way up. And then we have the bricks. We have the bed of mortar. We have the mortar joint going all the way down in a very nice line, and then we have the bricks that are just laid on top. And that is how the brickwork for new builds are done. Very effective, very quick, very easy. You can see the row. We've got house there, house there, house there, house there, house there, all the way down, all insulated, all ready to be bricklayed. Yeah, and altogether this cost £9,000. I can't wait to see what you think when you understand how much it actually costs to build a new house in the UK. It might not be as much as you would expect, but right now we are at the 70k mark. And at this point, we have done the foundation, the steel frame, the roof trusses, the brickwork. We've done internal first fix electrical and mechanical work. But what about the solar panels? Let me show you. Once the solar panels are delivered to site, we get the telehandler to pick them up and bring them to the correct plot. So the boys have started off putting on the brackets for the solar panels. So that is the bracket with clips that the solar panel sits on. And then this is for water. So when water comes, it runs down instead of running into the felt, creating a sag and then leaking through the roof. So that is what they're doing right now. And they make good progress so far. Once complete, the solar panels can basically just clip onto the bracket, believe it or not. It's actually a lot simpler than a lot of people think. You just clip it on, connect the solar panel to the power line within the house, all ready to be connected up to the distribution boards inside. Once all done, the tiles can then go on, and that is how the solar panels are left. Looks really good if you ask me. Subscribe for more. We're so close to the final product now. The solar panels cost roughly £1,000, and then we're moving on to second fix. Second fix and first fix in total for the cabling, it's around 4.5 grand. Now that takes up our cost to around 75 grand. When you add up the cost of the mechanical work, the lighting, the radiators being installed, the plumbing and the kitchen, let alone the flooring, the doors, the skirting, you're looking at around more like 90 grand. Now, that's a lot of money, but when you think about it, nothing internally is done. So that is why it costs so much to install it all. We've got the skirting coming in. We have got the kitchens that are all temporary protected at the moment, but the kitchens are in, the doors are in, the architraves are in, the switches are in, the toilet, the cabinets. I'm sorry you can't see much in there. I'm very sorry. It's very dark in these houses. The plasterboard, that costs a lot of money as well. You can start adding these things up and it costs roughly up to 90 grand. So we have probably spent 90 grand on this right now, this house that I'm currently in. Walking up the stairs, that costs approximately 850 pounds. Handrails plus the balustrade, that probably takes up to around a grand. Then moving in, then we've got the kitchen. Then we're coming into second fix. We've got the tiles, the toilets, the taps, the bath, the tiles, the window, the walls being painted. We start looking at second fixing, and you can see these rooms are really starting to take some shape. Now it's funny to consider that this is a metal frame house, but yeah, it's quite cool. It's quite exciting. It's really exciting to see, actually. So we're at the 90k mark now. I've just given you a quick tour of the house. Externally, we're complete. The brickwork's done. We spent 9 grand on that. The insulation's on. Internally, we've also got to install insulation. We've also got to fit the second fix stuff, which you've just seen. Can you think about what else we need to do? We've done the PV panels. We've done the doors, the windows. We've done the externals, but what we haven't done is finishing off the ground. It's funny, on construction sites, you start with the ground workers and you end with the ground workers. Lastly, the last thing we got to do is the gardens, the outside. When you open your front door, where are you looking? Where are you standing? Is there a drive? Is there pavings? Is there topsoil? Whatever it is, that costs money. We're going to add on 40 grand for the outside external works for building the external of a new plot for a house in the UK. That takes us up to £140,000, and that is how much it costs to build a new house in the UK. Don't forget all the temporary stuff that comes along with it. Temporary window protection when we fit the windows, that costs money. The guttering, the external guttering, I haven't mentioned that. The lintels as well, I haven't mentioned that. We haven't mentioned any astroturf or fencing to create the garden, or any excavation to make sure that it's all even and flat. So if you're on a very hilly construction site, your house might actually cost a bit more money because you need the ground workers to do more excavating, which is going to increase the cost. We've also got scaffolding, which is probably one of the most, well, it is the most expensive temporary thing that we need. We spend so much money on scaffolding, and at the end we don't even have it. It goes, you know, you don't appreciate scaffolding when you're living in your house. So to finish off the groundworks, we even out the ground, excavate it, put in topsoil, put in astroturf, put the fencing up, and then that is pretty much the garden for the house. And then that is pretty much the new build complete. Now I'm going to give you a tour of a completely finished new build on this construction site. But if you've come for the answer of how much does it cost to build a new build in the UK, 140 grand. Without further ado, let's go inside and let me show you the final result and see what that actually gets you. Starting off then, we're in the lobby area. This is the door. Right now, if I open that door, I am in a construction site, so I will not be opening that door. But as you can see, if I turn you around, we've got a pretty standard staircase here, along with an area to put your shoes. So this is the show home for the construction site I'm currently working on. So it's decked out with furniture. Coming in to the lounge then, you've got nice seat, nice settee, nice little shelf area with a table all carpeted. Walls have all been painted. We've got a lamppost with some pictures to be put up and a lovely plant to get some greenery. Honestly, I'm really impressed with how this house has come along from the very start to where we are now. It's been a journey for sure. Coming in then to below the stairs, we just got a storeroom at the moment, a little distribution box there. We've also got just some storage below the staircase. You shut that door, and then right opposite it then we have the entrance into the bathroom. So in the bathroom then you can see, I won't enter, but vinyl flooring continues from the hallway. Vinyl flooring from the hallway straight into this room. We've got nice shelves here hiding. Let me just open this quickly. Hiding ducting, hiding the ventilation units for the bathroom, and then we've also got storage up here as well. So that's very cool. We've got a nice little worktop area, and then a tap and a sink. Coming in then to the kitchen, you've got fairly reasonable sized kitchen. It feels like the kitchen I have in my house is quite cold all the time because it's an extension, but this feels very warm, feels very nice. Sounds like well soundproofed as well, if that makes sense. It's not too much of an echo. We've got vinyl flooring, nice tabled area, and then lovely worktop, I must say, to do all your cooking. And it's quite a reasonable size as well. You can get a lot of cooking done in this small area. I really like it. You've got nice spotlights up here then, and then you've got smoke detectors, and that hasn't fully been finished yet. Ignore that. But yeah, you can see this house is a 4 beds. We call them a 4B3P, 4 bed, 3 person house. Sorry, 3B4P, 3 bed, 4 person house. So that's the ground floor. Let's go up to the first floor. Starting off then, we've got what's called a pig's ear handrail. Quite an old fashioned handrail, to be honest. We've got nice carpet then. Taking our way up to the first floor of this house. Starting off then with a single bedroom. Onto the left of the staircase, we got a nice little balustrade here, coming straight into the single bedroom. You see, like, it's not a massive room, I won't lie, but you can get a lot of stuff in here. We've got a desk, obviously we've got a bed just behind me there, with a window to look out. If you look out of that window now, it is a construction site. So I will not show you anymore. So exiting this room and coming into the double bedroom then, you can see, I think this is my favorite room of them all. You can see this is all decorated and looks very, very sharp. We've got a nice plan. This is a nice large area. In all fairness, it is a very nice large area, and you know, it's a place where you can relax, chill. Or of course, it's your bedroom, you know what I mean. Double bedroom. But the coolest part about this place, obviously you've got a nice window there, is of course the mirror, but then the ensuite as well. So this is very cool. Enter into the toilet. You've got nice sink, nice toilet, tiled, and then a shower room in here as well. I gotta be honest, those tiles look a bit old-fashioned, I do have to be honest, but I think that's the only thing that I'm not really a fan of in this property. So leaving the double bedroom then and going into the other single bedroom. So you can see, again, keeping with the blue feature wall, we've got a nice bed, a desk, an area where you can work, windows to look out of. This place is really sharp, it's really nice, and it's a reasonable size as well. I mean, you can get a lot done in this area. I quite like it, you know, when we built it. It doesn't look like much, but then when you actually put everything in here, it starts to look a little bit, like, it looks good. Like, I'd take this. And then finally, moving into the last room, the bathroom. Again, these tiles look a bit old-fashioned, but when you come in here, it's a nice space. It's a compact space, it's a compact house, it's a cozy house, easy to warm up, affordable, everything that you want. So yeah, that's pretty much what you get for approximately £250,000 for a house of a new build in the UK. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. See you on the next one.